Okay, so I know that this is just event content, but I thought it looked pretty dope, so I wanted to cover what little there is about it. The Hero Squad Immortal Gorgons event was first teased at MapleStory Fest 2019 for a few seconds in the summer events section, and that was on May 11th, 2019. And later, the exact trailer that was shown at MapleFest, the MapleStory Pathfinder summer launch trailer, came out on June 5th, 2019. A little bit more information was eventually revealed on the Pathfinder Micro-Site, where it said that you could summon a team of characters across your account to form a squad ready to take on the Immortal Gorgons. Players level 140 and up can create the ultimate team-up to deal massive damage to Stheno, Urali, and Medusa. Eventually, the update preview for the Pathfinder Squadron of Heroes update came out, and it kind of said the same thing. Build a team to face off against the Immortal Gorgons, who protect the Ancient Temple, and build your perfect team and face off against the Immortal Gorgons of the Ancient Temple to earn glory and rewards. With the actual version 206 patch notes out, it went into a little bit more detail about how the Hero Squad Immortal Gorgons event worked with instructions. But when it finally released in version 206 on July 24th, 2019, once you were in-game and went to Adventure Island and spoke with Fiden, whose name, interesting enough, has like a Turkish origin for the word sapling or seedling. But he's an adventurer who is visiting Maple World to share his wisdom and introduce heroes to the latest adventuresome challenge. You could learn just a tiny little bit more of the minuscule story, but a whole lot about the mechanics of the event. The tidbit of information that you can glean is that after assembling a squad of 2 to 5 heroes, you can face the Immortal Gorgons, who are guarding the treasures in an ancient temple. Once you enter, one of the 3 Gorgon statues in the battlefield will randomly activate, and afterwards the Gorgons will alternate attacking. So as if there isn't enough repetitive information, once again, in the Hero Squad menu, the Immortal Gorgons subtext reads, "Test your strength by challenging the legendary Immortal Gorgons standing guard over ancient temple treasures ripe for the taking." And so, you would. Sort of. There's actually no treasures to be had. Sort of. Honestly, as beautiful as the art is for this content, and how big a part of the advertising part of the update seems to be, there is not that much to it. You basically just have to spend as much time as possible doing it if you want any rewards. The longer that you spend inside attacking the Gorgons, which are obviously immortal, so they'll never actually die, the more points you would get. The amount of points that you have determines your ranking, and you will only get real rewards by being in the top 20% at the end of the month-long event. Which means you have to grind this content endlessly if you really want anything. I'm pretty positive this is not permanent content, it's just for the event period, which is unfortunate because everything genuinely looks really cool. But there are rewards for the event, one of which being the Immortal Gorgon Throne. The item description for the chair reads, "A reminder of your time spent with the deadly Gorgons of legend." It has you sitting on the throne on a raised altar with the 3 statues of the Gorgons behind. There's a damage skin that doesn't really have a description or anything, but it's just called the Sleek Slither damage skin. And there are also 3 titles, Gorgon Destroyer, Gorgon Master, and Gorgon Legend. And finally, the most sensible reward, you can receive the weapon that Medusa holds, the Gorgon Baston, which description reads, "A cane deftly wielded by the beautiful but deadly Medusa, earned by legendary heroes who have fought the Immortal Gorgons." This is an NX cover, so it's purely cosmetic, but I can appreciate it fitting the theme. Now, in classical Greek myth, Gorgons aren't really described as having snake bodies. Obviously, as is a lot of mythology, a lot of what's been passed down through history and stuff is due to other people's interpretations, and clearly it's a myth. So there isn't any definitive understanding of the Gorgons or anything. But in Hesiod's Theogony, the poem speaks of the Gorgons as sea demon sisters. Though supposedly Stheno and Urali were immortal, Medusa was very clearly mortal, if you know her story. So, Stheno's name essentially means strong, mighty, or forceful. She's described as being the eldest sister, having red snakes that slither around her head rather than hair. In MapleStory, we see Stheno as the Red Gorgon, sporting a large shield that she slams into the ground as her attack. She also throws spinning shields and enters into a kind of defensive mode. Eurali's name means of the wide sea, or far roaming, and she's said to have a bellowing, shrill cry. In MapleStory, Eurali is the pink Gorgon, wielding a rapier sword, attacking by charging forward with it. She also summons a cursed sword called the Infernal Blade, which looks very similar to the one that she wields. And she's also able to split herself into multiple serpents. Medusa, the most popular one, is widely heard of as being the queen of the Gorgons. Her name essentially means guardian, or even queen. Like other Gorgons, she was known for her petrifying gaze, even after death. In MapleStory, we see Medusa as the green Gorgon. She sports a staff, though it's supposedly a baston, which is another word for cane, but she seems a lot more focused around summoning multiple serpents. She has the ability to cast petrification as well, which you can avoid by averting your gaze from her. So there were only 4 maps added with this event, but honestly, I think they all look stunning, even though 2 of them are kind of the same. But the names of the maps don't really reveal much about them, other than it's some ancient temple at a lost location. They're literally named Lost Location, Temple Face, Temple Rear, and Ancient Temple. In the background of the Ancient Temple map, where you would fight the Immortal Gorgons, you can see a structure atop a mountain in the background art. Now, I'm not really certain, but it's probably based on the Parthenon of the Acropolis of Athens. There's also, interestingly, an altar with some sort of floating symbol in the ancient temple. No clue what this could be, but it looks nice, like every other aspect of the area. And obviously, there is a lot of snake imagery all over, like everything. The most clear being the abilities and visuals of the Gorgons, but if you look a little closer at their skills, you can see the symbols in them that depict serpents as well. Medusa's being the most obvious, as her attacks have 3 gigantic snakes. The skill animation for when she summons snakes actually has 2 coiling serpents rising upwards. Eurali's skill animation for when she's summoning her cursed sword has a little symbol of the serpent coiling around the hilt of the rapier. And Sthenos' shield, as well as the skill animation, has a winged serpent emblazoned on the front. There's also some imagery in the temple itself, which you may not have noticed since you'd probably be more focused on staying alive and fighting, but it's up there on the arch at the top. I can only hope that they utilize some of the assets again for some content in the future. Most fitting would be like something to do with Chryse, which I know sounds weird, but that is how you would pronounce it because it's Greek. But, you know, it'd be fitting if they ever wanted to actually revamp that area rather than turning it into some party quest nobody does. Some personal ideas for things that could have been cool is like maybe actually only defeating Medusa or something, with the other 2 Gorgons being left as their immortal. Obviously, you can't have like Pegasus and Chrysaor sprouting from Medusa's neck after getting beheaded, but getting like a Pegasus mount or something as a reward could have been cool. Or something like Chrysaor showing up as an NPC and gifting you a golden sword, even if it was just another NX weapon cover, that could have been cool as well. Or on that topic, maybe getting Sthenos' shield or Eurali's rapier could have been other rewards. Those would have been cool too, since you do get Medusa's cane. But yeah, overall, there really isn't any lore or story to it at all, just what it's based on, really. It just seems like it's something to do for event coins, which is unfortunate because there is a lot of inspiration to be drawn from the Gorgons that could have been used at least for like a small questline or story or something. But ultimately, it's just for combat for a squadron of your own characters to fight 3 Gorgons. And that's about it for the Hero Squad Immortal Gorgons lore. So recently I've been putting out videos on a schedule of once a week on Mondays. If you want to subscribe and click the little bell icon, you can get a notification for when I actually do get around to making another video. Also, if you enjoy any of the lore, share the videos with your friends or something. It would actually help a lot. But anyway, if there's anything important that I'm missing, let me know.